Hi, good morning. We're here with Victoria Denman from V&A Homes. How you doing, Victoria?
Great, thank you, Mike. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really well, thank you. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Business Spotlight. So,
Absolute pleasure.
to kick things off, if you could tell us a little bit about, who you are within the company and what it is that the company does, please.
Of course. My name is Victoria Denman. I'm a co-founder and director here at V&A Homes. We're a Harrogate-based new homes provider based here in Yorkshire and delivering to Yorkshire. Incorporated in 2017, so we've been going 7 years now, and we're just under 10 people in the team.
Fantastic. So, 7 years or so, what makes you different and stand out from other builders, developers in the sector, of which I'm sure there are many, be quite a competitive landscape. What's your kind of
Certainly, and each one of them is delivering something to contribute to, the housing need.
yeah,
But to answer your question, we were really clear when we set out to do this that we wanted to bring something special to the Yorkshire market. There are, as you rightly say, a number of large PLC house builders who are delivering from a volume perspective nationally. There are also some really established SME developers who are also providing great housing across the country and in the region. And I think, given my background, I was really focused on, what is it that people want, and given the home that you live in is probably the most important thing that you'll ever purchase. It's probably the most expensive thing you as a consumer will ever purchase. Then it's really about perfecting the product and perfecting the service around the product, and it's the two of those things working together that was really critical to how we defined our proposition and looked to deliver both housing and the service, the customer experience end to end. So I think what would set us apart is that we've created, from being a family business, we've created a team that really thinks about the way that we deliver as a family to to human beings, to people, to families, to individuals, to couples, to meet their needs, both in terms of how they engage with us, what we actually produce for them, how we customize that, and how we take care of them once they've moved in. So I think that's really critical to how we've gone about it.
fantastic. So, there's a couple of things that you mentioned in there. I was listening to about your background and being a family business. So, what's your business journey been like to date? And I suppose in answering that question, the market conditions and all those kind of things over the last few years.
Yes.
Yeah, how would you describe it if you could describe it initially, say in one or two words, and then expand on it?
Madness. I
Madness.
think
Oh, I like that. I've not heard madness before. Brilliant.
I think if anybody asked me today to step back and be Victoria Denman 7 years ago, knowing what's happened in the world since, if
Yeah.
I would like to step out of my career in the corporate world, working in consumer electronics for over 20 years, and set up a house building business,
Mhm.
moving into construction from scratch, I would have said that they were, you know, um, because who could have known that
Yeah.
sort of macro and global economic situation would evolve as it has. So when we incorporated in 2017, we were in a period of relative stability internationally.
Mhm.
We were in a from a political perspective, also from an economic perspective. I think the country was in a reasonably confident state. Interest rates were super low. Access to funding was really possible for both purchasers and businesses. So we're in a stable environment. Obviously, we've established the business, and since then we've had wars, Brexit, COVID, unprecedented levels of inflation over the last couple of decades, and all of the monetary policy that's been brought into place to cope with that. And like I said, had I known any of that, then I may not have done it, but I'm so pleased that we did. So to answer your question, I think, it's been a journey that's thrown a lot at us that we couldn't have anticipated. And I think therein lies the question, how do you maneuver around those unforeseens? Yeah. And I think it's about being adaptable, isn't it? I think any business that's starting out, it's about being open to adapt, have a clear vision, but be ready to move as you need to around that vision. Staying focused on where you want to be, but really rethinking how you get there. And I think that's been critical.
Is that your biggest lesson then, do you think, in terms of what you've learned on those 7 years to date?
Oh, it's hard to narrow it down to one, isn't it? I'd say being open, always having multiple ideas around how to get to the end point is critical for any business owner. And I think in property in particular, we all know, I think most people in the country are checking on Rightmove constantly. It's a national a national hobby, I guess. So even if you're not in the market for a new home, it's something that's of interest to most people. So I think, yes, I think it's been adaptable. I think the other one that I would be keen to talk to you about is, I think it's important to question why. So I think you have to start off with a plan, a vision and a plan that's aligned behind that vision. But is to constantly, when you are the business owner and the buck stops with you, I think it's really important to step back, take stock, and regularly say, why are we doing it this way? Why, what does this achieve? Is there a better way? And to really engage with the wonderful people that are around you. We've built an incredible team here, and every one of the people in that team, whether it be somebody working part-time as an admin support or the commercial director, they all have a voice. They all have something that contributes to the why, and we're really keen. We're really keen as a team to step back and always say, okay, I know we were doing it that way. Is that the right way? And are there any other ways? And who can we learn from? And and perhaps the way we were doing it was the right way, but it's to always question why.
Fantastic. So what does the future hold as far as you can see it, and what are the main challenges from this point onward, or improvements that you're looking to make that you could share with people watching?
Oh, Mike, if only I had a crystal ball. Well, I've definitely started the year, we're in January 2024, with a positive, optimistic outlook. 2023 is a challenging year for all the things that I've already talked about. I think the cost of finance and interest rates have attacked both from a cost of build and cost of delivering projects and end consumers' ability to access finance in order to proceed with buying their new homes. I think we've had a couple of interest rate updates where they've remained static. There's talk of them coming down. I'm not so sure about that yet. Inflation is certainly coming down, so that's good. We don't have stability in the world. I think the surge in cost of materials that we saw last year and the year before, it was out of control. That's becoming a lot more predictable, which allows us to hopefully secure a time of some stability. So I think I don't want to speak too soon, but I'm hopeful for a bit of an upturn in terms of the economic environment. What are our plans for the future? Well, we've started to build, so we've built on our revenue and margin year on year since we started business, which is obviously the direction and trajectory we want to go in. This year, we've had to curb costs, as most businesses have had to, in order to protect that margin, which is critical to continuing in the way that we've started out. We've bought a site which is 4 times as large as anything we've delivered to date, so we're looking to grow, but growing sustainably is the key. And as I've said before, I think it's that adaptability. It's about, really being open to arriving at the destination point via a different route if need be, and remaining versatile in that regard. Ultimately, this is a people business. We're B2C. It's about delivering that service. And I truly believe that if the product is right and we continue to perfect that, I mean, we've won 2 awards this year, which I guess is, a bit of a badge of honor that says, yep, you're getting that right, the product is right, but it's about the service and the customer experience, customer journey around that product that will continue to be, really fastidious about. I really, really am committed to that. And by ensuring that we continue to deliver that service, I think it makes us as robust as we can possibly be in the current environment.
Fantastic. So just to delve a bit deeper more about yourself, and I can see the passion and hear that for the customer service and the business that you're building. So what was the spark that made you in corporate environment before, go from corporate into setting up your own business? What made you want to do that?
I think it was kind of always in me. When I finished university, I came back from traveling and started a business with my father, which I thought at the time was just giving him a hand. Did that for a couple of years, but then needed to move on into my own career as I saw it at the time. And whilst I worked my way through large corporations such as Motorola, Microsoft, Google, both at a local, regional and global level, what I really kept coming back to was that I really wanted to be at the coalface. So yes, I was doing these quite strategic roles, and it was great to have had that sort of grounding and pedigree, but I kept wanting to be at the coalface, and gradually, got closer to it, and then ended up in the startup community and realised that what I'm good at is taking an idea, not necessarily my idea, and building on that idea and shaping it and making it happen. I've always been extremely interested in property. I think, like I said, it's something that's really important to all of us. We all feel that our home and where we live reflects us, and it makes us, it's our safe place. So from a commodity perspective, there's no end of opportunity there. I think also I'm interested in construction. I come from a background where I was surrounded by that as a child. So it's that. Also, I really believe in building teams. So finding great talent, trying to empower the people that come on board to be the best version of themselves and to buy into our proposition and deliver off the back of that was a real motivation for me. And watching those people flourish is a personal highlight, if I were to, name one. So I guess that I also, age is helpful. As you get older, you get braver. And I think it's about, you truly start to believe that you can do it, and believing in your gut and knowing that you can try something. If it doesn't work, try something else. That doesn't work, try something else, and keep going until it does work. So I think having that conviction also helped.
Thank
and
you.
no regrets at all. It's definitely the right thing.
Some brilliant reflections there. Thank you for sharing that. So what inspiration, or do you use any sort of books or podcasts or anything like that, or people, mentors that you have that you use for inspiration, whether known, not so well known?
All of the above. I mean, I won't hone in on an individual, and maybe if I went and checked my own LinkedIn, there'll be some random things there that I no longer identify with. What I would say to that is, I take my inspiration from those who are, you know, inaccessible to me, who may be, you know, global leaders or thought leaders, right to family members and personal friends. And I think one of the things that I need to be extremely grateful for is the network around me, both professionally and personally, because I'm so inspired by some of the friends I have and the places they've ended up and how they've got there. Integrity is critical to who I am and who this business is, what this business is. So everyone who participates in what V&A does believes in what they're doing, and they have a really, you know, a lot of integrity around the way that we go about things. So, you know, yes, I listen to podcasts. I'm really inspired by young people. I think sometimes there's some negativity from business leaders about, you know, Generation Y, Z, or whatever, the millennials, and how, you know, they expect everything in the play. You know, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think young people bring fresh ideas, and I'm extremely interested in what they've got to say, and I'm always keen to defer to their thoughts before I make decisions about how we're going forwards. Before we got our own offices here in Harrogate, we were based in a shared office with 20 other businesses, and lots of those businesses are comprised of very young people, and I used to get them together to say, okay, we're specifying these properties, and we'd like you to make the decisions about what ranges we should make available to our customers. You know, I felt quite inspired by that. So, like I said, you know, sometimes my 10-year-old daughter inspires me, because of her clarity of thought, whilst I also, you know, listen to sort of developmental podcasts and listen to other business leaders, and less so politicians.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Lots of inspiration from all different places, but that's fantastic. Yeah, it definitely resonates with me. So especially with the kids, even your own kids. So we've got 9 and 7-year-old, and you see your own behaviors that sometimes they reflect. You think, well, I'm telling you to do one thing, and as adults we've learned it as a kid. But yeah, there's lots of inspiration all around, and definitely on that younger aspect as well. It's about giving people the chance and the opportunity to have their ideas. And is that your target market then? If you've used, that's an interesting idea, using younger people in the shared office, that were they part of your target market then, and you were utilizing that as an opportunity to get feedback?
No, in terms of are we selling to that target market?
Yeah, it was just when you in that shared office and you were using
Yes.
that opportunity to get feedback.
Yeah, and when I say young, I mean younger than me, which isn't necessarily young anymore. But I think it was, you know, these people were in their 20s and 30s, and whilst the homes that we've been selling to date, because of the location, are, you know, we're selling to across the board, but probably not the younger end, the 20-year-olds, because it's difficult to access at that level. But I think their aspirational understanding of where the trends are, you know, is it shaker style kitchens versus handleless? What I really see in those millennials is that they don't necessarily say, well, what I would want for me is that. They're really good at saying, well, I would want that, but I can just imagine my parents would want that. They're quite, you know, they're sort of more broad thinking than we give them credit for. So that's why I was very interested. I wasn't going exactly with everything they said, but I was keen to ensure that it wasn't just us in our closed environment making decisions on behalf of the end customer, and making sure that the range of customization that we were offering reflected growing trends as well as existing trends. So, but in terms of our target demographic, what we try to do is when we apply for planning permission on a given scheme, we are looking to deliver to a range of end consumers, and the benefit of that to local communities is you get more diverse communities, and the benefit to us is your rate of sale is going to be quicker, because you're appealing to a broader market.
Fantastic.
Target.
So I'm going to wrap things up and give you the opportunity at the moment. Is any latest news? I mean, you've mentioned about developments and things that you're on with, but even if it's a case of sharing the website where we can find how to get in touch with you for any inquiries, feel free to do so. Okay.
Well, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook, we're on LinkedIn. We are the and a homes, but you have to spell the and out in the URL. So it's theandahomes.co.uk. We are selling our units at Thirsk and at Flying Horse Farm currently, and at Sutton-on-the-Forest, Carr Lane. We have won 2 awards this year. At the regional awards, we won Best Small Development, and at the International Property Awards, we won a 5-star Best Small Development award as well. So if you want to buy a property from an award-winning, local, considered house builder, then check us out.
Thank you very much, Victoria. Been a great talking with you, and I wish you all the best for the future of the business.
Thanks very much, Mike. It's been my pleasure.